Stories of well-known brands, Super Bowl commercials, works of fiction, plays, games, even paintings and music. Behind any good story is the same narrative structure humans have been using since they became humans. Watch on to learn how to apply the most popular story pattern to your content. My name is Katrina. Every week I share a video on copywriting or content marketing to help you get better at your job. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss a new video. I wrote a book for writers called From Reads to Leads. It talks about how to create great content. I called one chapter of this book, Good Content is like the script of a Hollywood movie, to emphasize the importance of storytelling in content marketing. In this video, we'll talk about how to apply a story structure to your content, but make sure you get the book for more insights. I've added links to it in the description to this video. Why turn your content into a story? Storytelling isn't only limited to books and movies, it's also applicable to blogging. We often think about our content structures in terms of listicles, how-to guides, comparison blog posts, but these structures won't help you create an emotional connection with your readers. Whatever you sell, technologies, products, ideas, services, stories make them more real and more important. So what story structure can you follow to turn your content into a story? You guessed it. The hero's journey. Departure, initiation, return. This universal rule of the plot goes back to what Joseph Campbell reveals in his book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces. The monomyth, as Campbell calls it, or the hero's journey, is a universal motif of adventure and transformation that runs through all of the world's mythic traditions. It's the plot by which people have lived throughout their entire existence. You can think of the hero's journey as grammar. You must know it if you choose writing as your craft. Departure, initiation, and return are the three main acts in the hero's journey. In each of these acts, the hero goes through several stages. For example, in Joseph Campbell's Hero with a Thousand Faces, departure breaks down into the following stages: call to adventure, refusal of the call, supernatural aid, crossing of the first threshold, belly of the whale. Joseph Campbell's monomyth was adapted by Christopher Vogler as 12-stage hero's journey in his book The Writer's Journey, Mythic Structure for Writers, in which the departure looks like this: ordinary world, call to adventure, refusal of the call, meeting of the mentor, crossing of the first threshold. When you create content, you don't necessarily need to follow all the stages of the hero's journey. There is no reason to invent a 12-stage plot for a blog article. But following some basic rules of storytelling will help you make your content more interesting and more engaging. Here are some of those rules. 1. All content should have a 3-act structure: a beginning, a middle, and end. 2. Your hero is always your reader, not you or your brand. 3. At the end of the first act, you need to throw something at your reader that gets them into a whole heap of trouble, but make sure they feel motivated to overcome their challenges. 4. The hero must transform via a series of trials and tribulations that take place in the middle of the story. 5. Your hero needs guidance. That's why your role should be that of a mentor that helps the hero overcome their obstacles. 6. Your solution, which can be a product, a service, an idea, and even knowledge, plays the role of a reward that allows the hero to take on their challenges and win the ultimate battle, their major ordeal. 7. The hero must return back home at the end of the story to bring knowledge back to the ordinary world as a changed person. How can you frame your content using the 3-act hero's journey? Let's start by renaming departure, initiation, and return into the setup, the main body, and the wrap-up, to use the terms we are familiar with in content writing. Act 1. The setup. In this first act, you set up the stage for the story. The setup is the world where your reader lives before your business, solution, or product enters the story. Your reader is the hero of the story, not your business. In the setup, you need to introduce your hero and provide context for their motivations. There should be some challenge that your hero needs to overcome. Maybe it's the need to adapt to changing circumstances. Maybe it's the threat of a competitor. Maybe it's the desire to get rich or die trying. Whatever it is, it motivates your reader to leave their ordinary world and start a difficult and risky adventure. But it's not so easy for your reader to depart. The problem seems too hard, too time-consuming, or too expensive, so the reader starts to hesitate in their commitment to overcoming this challenge. This is where you step in and pose a question or push your hero to realize that they can't leave things as they are and must go on an adventure. Act 2. The main body. The second act is the body of your piece. Here, you need to put your hero through the ringer. Your hero should move from obstacle to obstacle, overcoming some, failing to overcome others. You can appear as a mentor every time your hero is in trouble to help them proceed with their journey by offering a solution to their problem. The second act builds into a climax that determines the hero's ultimate fate. After this act, the world will never be the same again. When your hero overcomes the problem that your business helps to solve, they should be transformed. Otherwise, your hero won't experience success and their journey will be a failure. Act 3. The wrap-up. The hero's journey is circular, which means it ends where it began. That's why so many good articles are front-loaded. They start with the conclusion and end by circling back to the main point articulated in the beginning. The conclusion, or the wrap-up as we call it, follows the climax. The hero has suffered the ups and downs of the narrative and now is ready to come back to where they started, but the journey has changed them. In the wrap-up, you can include scenes that describe how your hero is living their life back home using your solution. If you want to leave room for a sequel, and most likely you do, you can end up your story with a cliffhanger, which suggests there is more to explore. Your reader will get curious and will continue their journey on your website. Learning how to turn things that aren't really stories into stories is not easy, and most people who can tell great stories don't fully understand how they do it. If you're not one of them, try to do this. Imagine that your reader is a hero, you're the mentor, and the thing you are selling is the legendary sword of King Arthur. What battle are you trying to win together? I'll see you next time with a new video. Thank you for watching. Я Катерина. Пока-пока.